Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. So the original Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon 30-degree technique was launched in 2009. The version you see here, the Technique Black, was their first watch that was black. It was their first watch that featured a rubber strap with a titanium case. So famous firsts here. This model launched in 2013. The example you see here sold in 2014, and it went to a factory service returning in 2024, so it is factory fresh. So in DLC, or diamond-like carbon-coated grade 5 titanium, this Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon 30-degree Technique Black is 47.5 millimeters in diameter, 17.2 millimeters thick, and 56.2 from lug tip to lug tip, with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We're going to zoom out a little bit, put it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. I got to back out just to give you a sense of scale. The watch is too big for me. I believe that you really need a wrist of 17, maybe 18 millimeters circumference to wear this well. The lugs are out over the edge of my wrist, and nowhere is that more obvious than from over the top. In profile, you can see that the watch is thick, but then again, Greubel Forsey never boasts of the thinness of its multi-tourbillon watches, so the space is put to good use, and you'll see that in just a moment. The watch is light, though. I'm going to say it's very light, being made almost entirely of sapphire and titanium. Eyes closed, you'd never guess how large it is. The strap here is a Greubel Forsey factory piece. A few things worth noting. First, the lugs are drilled relatively close to the case, but with the curvature of the spring bar, the strap has a full range of motion, so it can pull straight down out of the lugs. It's not impeded in any sense. There's a little line off-center molded into the top, and then on the bottom, you have the micro text that some people often try to read in fragments on the internet from product photography, and this is probably the clearest look you'll ever get at it. Normally it's plaques on the side of the case, plaques on the inside. It's sometimes written on the movement itself or the dial, but the best way to describe this text is that it's a combination of Greubel Forsey's techniques, values, and philosophy of preserving traditional watchmaking. You can read it word for word, but just trust me, that's what it means. You'll also find it in profile. Our know-how, we're inventors, we're watchmakers. We keep the time with exceptionally exclusive, technical, and bien facteur, beautifully made and complex realizations, and you will find that on both sides. Now, the case is made of titanium, grade 5. It's very hard, it's very light. There is also a diamond-like carbon coating, but it is not uniform. Some of it is brushed, some of it is polished. There is a distinction for a very subtle contrast. The lugs on Greubel Forsey watches are often underestimated, as their complexity and nuance sometimes gets lost in online product photography. Keep that in mind. We also have a crown with Greubel Forsey logo, and then we have a feature that is welcome on a watch so large and expensive, which is a full folding clasp. A little bit of text in there, twin trigger release. You have to press both. It cannot pop open inadvertently. Take a look. We've got a combination of polish, and then in profile, media blast. Take a look at the bottom. Of course, this is also in titanium, keeping the watch resolutely stuck to your wrist. On the dial side, what's notable about this GF02S movement is that it is designed to be open and evacuated. It is not a skeleton dial because it has not been skeletonized. It was designed with transparency, with visibility of components, the idea of taking the machine from the inside and turning it inside out so you can see that for which you've paid. There is a sapphire scale on which indices are mounted, and we'll do a quick loom shot here just so you can be absolutely certain that parts, but not all, of the dial luminescent. I'll do my best now to remove the hands, prevent them from blocking you. Many Greubel Forsey watches, including the Double Tourbillon series, feature 2 barrels and a 72-hour power reserve. This actually features 4 stacked coaxial barrels, which wind with great drama. endowing the watch with 120 hours chronometric power reserve, though absolute, that is drop-dead power reserve, is about 160. So you just want to stay on that 120-hour scale. And I'll demonstrate how that power reserve moves so you could see it in action. Notice that there's two different elements. There's that grill that says Reserve de Marche, and then there is the index on the opposite side. So both elements move. Just above that, there's a spherical differential that's driven off the barrels that is responsible for powering the power reserve. You can see that there is a running seconds hand, so the watch does have a conventional running seconds hand, a beautifully decorated bridge at center for the hands themselves, and then the pièce de résistance, which is the double tourbillon 30 degrees. So here's what you're looking at. This is probably the best angle if you actually want to get a look at it. The inner tourbillon is angled at 30 degrees. So just sitting on your dresser, it is countering the effects of gravity by rotating through that angular orientation. The outer tourbillon, which encompasses the inner one, moves in a plane that is parallel to the dial, but at a speed that is equivalent to one rotation every 4 minutes. So you can see it has 4 spokes and then a scale from 0 to 60. Each spoke passes across the scale in 1 minute. So you have a double tourbillon, that is 2 tourbillon regulators, with the inner one at 30 degrees, hence the name. The inner tourbillon is free sprung. It has a overcoil hairspring. It is adjusted in 6 positions. It is an exceptional timekeeper. Greubel Forsey Double Tourbillon movements have been awarded at chronometry trials, so it doesn't just look good. It's not just bienfaiteur. It is not just tradition. It is very functional. The tourbillon cage is made of steel, which polishes and bevels beautifully. Note that the tourbillon cage structures are rounded and mirror polished, which is not easy to do. Much easier to mirror polish a flat surface. All the elements are decorated. The bridge structure is enough to make your eyes water. Steel and mirror finished with a diamond paste. You can see it's beveled on its edges, and it does have those interior angles where bevels meet, plus a golden chaton cup for the pivot of the tourbillon, reminding you this is how jewels were set in La Chaux-de-Fonds during the 19th century, La Chaux-de-Fonds being the home of Greubel Forsey. Hands and indices are all white gold, no expense spared. Elements like the bridges for the barrels and the power reserve, they are described by Greubel Forsey as black chrome. All screw heads are mirror finished with chamfered slots in circumference. Turn it all over, you have a rose gold beveled and satinated individual numbering plaque. Take a good look. You can see the underside of the spherical differential right there. It has its own separate and beautiful bridge. Each one of these spokes, 5 spokes per wheel, 2 sides per wheel. Remember, that is going to be 4 interior angles per spoke, per side. So you wind up, think about it, on one side, you have 20 interior angles. On both sides of the wheel combined, you wind up with 40 interior angles. Very difficult to finish interior angles, create that sharp crease where bevels meet inside a confined structure like a wheel. You could see a wire brush was used to create the frosting across these surfaces, and blink and you'll miss it. We've actually got 2 different types of screws here, not just size here, but we have fired blue screws and we have mirror polished screws. The underside of the tourbillon cage, the underside bridge, just as beautiful as the one up top. Many more golden chaton back here, and now you can see that these blackened bridges have also been beveled and graced with interior angles and golden chaton cup. You can also see the solarized cover of one of the barrels below. It is exhaustively decorated, a 43 jewel movement that's over 37 millimeters in diameter. This watch is not frivolously large, but purposefully large, as it contains this incredible movement. 30 meters water resistant, so this is a sporty watch, but you don't want to quite take it where you would take a 100-meter watch or something with a screw-down crown. This is a push-down crown, so just keep that in mind. An awesome timepiece that will be a privilege and a pleasure for the elite few. It is available now. Freshly serviced from the factory. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.